How you doing, Jess?
I am not doing well. I want to go back on land.
You are on land.
Yeah.
Ooh, man. I think I peed my pants a little bit. Oh. Well, this will be the dumbest thing you've heard all day, so there you go. Sorry, I was getting
What is wrong with you?
Welcome to episode 11 of the Backwoods Collective. I'm your host, Big Tricky Nick, and this is...
I'm Jess. Welcome back, y'all.
Oh, man. Well, Jess, how are you feeling?
Today is the best day I've felt in 4 months. So I don't know if I just have that burst of energy or that surge that my doctors have been telling me about before I crash completely. So I'm hoping it's not a surge, and I'm hoping I'm on the up and up at this point.
Well, good. I've definitely been keeping you in my thoughts and my prayers, and it's like, hopefully things are moving forward, so that's a good thing.
Thank you. Me too.
Oh.
I got an army behind me. It takes a village, dude.
That's right.
You know that.
Absolutely. The support system is everything.
Yeah. I didn't realize how big of a support system I had until I look at my phone every day and I'm getting texts and messages constantly like, hey, how you feeling? When you go to the doctor, what's going on? If you need anything, I'm here. And I just cry because I'm like, this is just, it's so nice.
Uh-oh, is it glitching? I hope not.
I hope not.
It would not.
It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest.
No, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest because apparently that I'm a magnet for that kind of shit.
Oh yeah, everything's good in pre-show, and then we go live, and we're like, what could possibly go wrong this week?
Everything in pre-show is like, okay, last minute, I'm gonna make some phone calls and try to figure this shit out. Yeah, I couldn't have done that yesterday or the day before or the day before that. No, we are last minute people. We fly by the seat of our pants.
And I called you on Friday and said, can we sit down one day this week? And you're like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And then we both are just like, so pre-show at 8:30.
Well, I mean, we did for like 10 minutes, but we didn't discuss anything.
No, it wasn't even 10 minutes. It was you on the phone for a good 10 minutes of that 10 minutes.
Oh, that's right. How does that work still?
Yeah.
Talking shit to my coworkers.
Yeah.
Yes. I do remember that. But that's an everyday thing.
This is my life, y'all.
Oh my gosh. Well, we are definitely glad. Oh, I'm glad to be back on here, talking with everybody.
Tuesday is one of my favorite days.
Hell yeah!
It gets me through my week.
I look forward to it.
I hope you look forward to it.
Well, yeah, I do. Are you kidding me?
If you didn't look forward to it, we'd have an issue.
Oh, I always look forward to it. I think about it all the time. Like, what are we going to talk about this week? Oh.
My favorites are like either as soon as we get off the show, we know what we're doing next week, or it's like Friday and we're both calling each other and we're like, we've got ideas.
I thought this really awesome thing we need to talk about. Oh, well, I'm going to start off tonight. I don't know if any of you here in the comments section are car people, but I came across something today that I was very excited about. Because I'm very easily entertained, and I'm like, ooh, yay!
We know.
On the Holly Performance website, they're selling their apparel, like T-shirts and stuff, for like dirt cheap, like $10 a piece. And I'm gonna throw up this little dude right here, and just kind of scroll through, just show you what I ordered. Like I said, if you guys are even remotely interested in it, $10.
Yeah, you can't beat that
for that kind of stuff, and that's my thing. Like, I love that. I love themed T-shirts, and they have quite a few, as you can see here. If you guys wanted to go visit, it's hollyperformance.com, and it's in their products and over here in apparel and collectibles. But that's just up to you, I guess.
To each their own.
What does the blue wrench mean?
Yeah,
that means you're a moderator. So there you go.
I don't see no blue wrench.
I think it's on the YouTube side, not on the StreamYard side.
No.
So yeah, you have the responsibility. I think there's some other people that might have it also. I don't know. I just did it real quick. I was like, there we go. So sorry. If you don't want it, I'll remove the blue wrench. Oh, so we haven't really done much at my work. Last week we were actually pretty busy, but like this week, we're kind of dead.
Yeah.
You know, we actually got a lot of crap done.
Well, that's because Friday everything hit the fan. So.
Oh my God. That was the day from hell. The day from hell. Hell was on earth on Friday at my job. It was awful.
That's what it seemed like.
Someone say ranch. Oh, but we got past it. That was just like the perfect end of the week because I was done at that point. After I got off the phone with you, I was like, I'm out.
Yeah. Well, because I could tell too, like just from talking to you while you're at work too, I can be like, I know when you're about to leave just by the way you talk to certain people. And certain people who talk to you, I'm like, ooh, I'm figuring this stuff out now.
Don't you just love the connections I have between my coworkers? It's so nice, isn't it? It's so friendly.
You need to just film half the stuff that comes out of everybody's mouth at that place because it is hysterical.
Y'all, she was cracking up the entire time that I was talking shit to my coworkers. And like, who's on the phone? Don't worry about it. You were about getting your ass out of here and quit sitting on the time clock.
Pretty much. I was like, I would love to work there.
Oh, it's so much fun.
It sounds like it's a fun place.
I mean, we do, you know, we're diesel mechanics. We do work our asses off. But there's honestly a lot of time that we spend not doing a whole lot. You know, cleaning shop or reorganizing my toolbox.
Yeah.
You know, which I do that like once every month. And you know, but no, it is an absolutely fun place to work, and I absolutely love it. I'm definitely lucky.
I feel like you're freezing up on my end. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's you. I don't know if it's just life, but I'm going to go with it.
I think it's all in your head because I'm good on my side.
It very well could be. Are you kidding?
Well, I mean,
that sounded real hollow when you hit this. It just sounded
rude.
Like...
That is rude. Rude. I have a lot of stuff in here. That's why I'm going bald. It's like the knowledge is pushing my hair out.
That's got to be my problem now too, buddy.
That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Well, speaking of knowledge, I watched a 3.5-hour documentary today on excavating the Titanic. Now, this is bringing me to my what if. What if the Titanic never sunk? How do you think that would have changed the landscape of history and technology?
There's Piper. That is a very good what if. Your what ifs are so good. They're deep.
I tried. I wouldn't be a good teacher if I didn't come up with good questions that are thought-provoking.
Yeah. Well, I would think if the Titanic never sank, there would have been an upswing in that kind of transportation because it was the most luxurious liner at that time. It would have revolutionized that industry. That's what I believe.
Not
Obviously,
only that, but I mean, the capacity for travel at that time was near none. That would have been the best way to get hundreds of thousands of people around the continent fairly quickly. But also what made me think of it was while I was watching this documentary, they kept talking about how oceanic exploration at the time was just up and coming. Nobody had gone there. And it's also interesting to note that the sailor who sent out, or crewmate who sent out the SOS call, got the coordinates wrong by about 10 miles west of where I think the Titanic actually did sink. So that's also something to think about too with the technological advancements. Were their radars as good as they were back then? And could they have ended up somewhere completely different than New York Harbor?
I do have something to say. You did say that was kind of like the beginning of the oceanic travel. That's actually not true, because look at the first settlers of America. They were
No,
able to do it by the stars, essentially.
I'm not
Now,
talking about oceanic exploration in that aspect.
oh, okay,
I'm talking
okay.
oceanic exploration on like the sea bottom. That's where
Oh,
I'm
okay,
talking
okay,
about
I got
that
you, I got
kind
you,
of
okay,
technological
I got
advancement.
you. But yeah, at the at the time, yeah, that was the most advanced ship ever built. Um, it would have revolutionized that industry, like I said. And yes, there was absolutely room for two on that piece of driftwood. She was selfish.
There was room for
Selfish.
two, but would it have stayed afloat like it did just for Rose? Because when you think about it, if Leonardo DiCaprio, as skinny as he was when that movie was made, I mean, it just the physics of it doesn't line up, because I don't think that wooden door would have stayed afloat for both of them. They probably both would have gone under. So I think he was being a gentleman in letting her survive.
But
Sorry.
they didn't try. They didn't even try. Okay.
How do you know they didn't
Bullshit.
try?
Bullshit. There was
How do you
room.
know?
I have faith that there was room on that piece of driftwood for both of them, and they could have lived and lived happily ever after.
I'm not
Tell me I'm
saying
wrong.
there wasn't room. I'm saying the physics of it probably wouldn't have worked out. And you know me, I'm not big into science and math, but the trajectory of both of them correlating and corresponding to their weight, I don't think it would have floated.
Them's big words. I need you to slow down. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
But back to the original question, I mean, like, when you think about it, they didn't actually start going and excavating artifacts from the Titanic until about the 1970s, I think, is when they actually were able to get down there and have the machine start pulling things up. And there was a big debate on whether or not they should have.
Well, they've talked about raising essentially the Titanic for years and years, ever since I was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
The fact of the matter is, it sat on the ocean floor. It sunk in 1912, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so it's been down there for 100, essentially 110 years, 109 years.
Essentially,
Um,
yes.
you got to understand what salt water does to iron.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it just eats it away. I don't think they could lift it, honestly.
And not only do I not think they could lift it, it would fall apart, because even the documentary showed these things called rusticles that started actually like clinging and building upon the Titanic and growing on it. That is what eats the iron away. It's not really the salt water, it's the
Well,
bacteria
yeah, exactly. The
growth that like
bacteria.
grows on it. But I also think that
I'm not a scientist. I don't know.
neither am I. I just watch documentaries. I just pay attention. But I think it should be left as like a grave site and like a memorial or like a burial ground for those people that did not survive.
A what ground?
Burial?
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 Burial.
Burial ground? Is that not...
That must be a northern thing, because around here it's burial. There's the eye roll. You know I'm gonna do it. I always tell you I'm gonna do it, so you should expect it.
I can't get one day on my own podcast without getting completely crapped on.
See, look, Bree agrees with me. Bear-e-all. Get it right.
No, okay, that's not the way Bree phonetically spelt it out, because if it was Bear-e-all, it would have been Bareial. Thank you.
So you're gonna get technical now. You're gonna get technical now. I see. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. Well, what about this one? What about this, Miss Technologically? I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want.
Burial.
Burial.
Burio.
Barriel. Come on now.
Hold up. We're gonna check this.
Oh, yes. She is always getting roasted.
Burial.
Oh, yes.
That is how you spell it.
That is how it's spelled, yes.
So, burr. Let's break this down. Burr. Burial. I am not wrong.
Burial.
Burial. Burial.
You are outnumbered. I'm sorry.
When am I not?
I'm just giving you shit, Jess. I'm just giving you shit.
I know, you're allowed to.
Oh man, but that's a very good what if. What if you could actually go to a museum and actually see that thing in a museum? That would be neat.
The entire ship, or
what if they were actually able to raise it? That's questionable.
As a historian, I think it would be a very humbling experience. As a person, I would just be like, I'm never going on a goddamn boat again. If that thing can sink, nope. I will go on my raft, my floaty. I'll go on whatever I can in shallow water that I can swim in that isn't going to give me hypothermia.
Yes, the unsinkable did the unthinkable. That is for sure.
Well, now they're building another one.
They've been building another one for years.
Apparently, it should be setting sail this year.
Oh, really?
From what I heard. I don't know if COVID's going to push that back. Maybe they're pushing it back to 2022. But that is the last I've heard, is that it's going to sail its first voyage within the next 1 to 2 years.
Well, let's hope this time they have enough lifeboats for everybody.
You just offended Piper, just so you know.
I did I? Hold up. Vanilla and Brie are mods. As a millennial, I'm offended.
Piper, I had no say in that.
If I was to make all of you mods, it would just be Blue Ranch.
Yes, Piper has it. It's 2022. It's sailing.
2022. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
I couldn't remember if it was this year or next year. As far as I'm concerned, I'm still living in March of 2020. That's where we're at. I am scared for these next, 31 days or whatever we have until March 1st. I'm no mathematician, but March is coming.
We got to get through February 1st.
Yeah, that's very true. Groundhog's Day.
Yes, it's a leap year too.
No, it's not. Last year was a leap year.
I'm pretty sure it's this year.
No, 2020. It's always an election year, my friend.
Hang on a minute. Hold on a minute. I will show you. Oh, you piece of crap. I have only until 28th of 2021.
Yes, there's 29 days in a leap year.
Oh, shit.
Told ya.
I don't know shit from Crisco, y'all. Jesus tits.
The next one will be 2024.
I thought the leap year was the 28 days short month.
No, it is, but there would be
Fucking idiot.
29 days in that year.
I need to go back to school.
Yes, you do.
So with that, I'll bring my Nickism to the table. I honestly don't know how you would explain this one, other than being angry. If you've ever heard somebody say he is fit to be tied.
Yeah,
it's fit
I've
to be
heard
tied.
that one.
Okay, that is my Nickism of the day. I don't. Oh. But yes, I heard that. I swear to God, I heard that saying 8 times today. Oh, he's fit to be tied. Oh man, he's gonna be fit to be tied. Fit to be tied. I'm like, I guess that's my Nickism because I've heard it so much today.
It was an omen. It was a good omen.
It was supposed to happen. It was supposed to happen.
I know a lot of people that say that. My uncle says that a lot, but it's usually about me when my cousin pisses me off.
She fit to be tied.
Or he'll say to my cousin that he's fixing to get hit.
Oh, fixing. Oh, that's not even like, I can't even consider that a Southern saying at this point because it is so ingrained into my into everyday life.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It's just something I just say, just like y'all.
Yeah.
You know, that you're just get used to it.
I mean, even up north here a lot too, I hear people saying y'all more, but I don't know if that's just because I'm so used to hearing it down in Virginia and when I'm down there or whatever, but like now I don't sound as much like the outsider. My family still thinks I'm batshit nuts, but
Cruising for a bruising. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've heard that one a bunch.
That's another one too.
And yes, we are always fixing to do something. Mm-hmm. I'm fitting to do something.
Oh God, I hate that one. I can't. I don't. My friends text me that and they're like, "Oh, I'm finna do this," and I'm like, "What does that even mean? Can't you just say going to?" Like, I mean, I don't know where it came from.
Yeah, especially here in Oklahoma, you definitely hear that a lot.
Yeah.
And here's one from Justin. Jeet yet?
Well, my favorite one is yeet. I say yeet all the time, and my family is like, "You're 25. What are you doing?" That's something your like 5-year-old cousin says from watching TikTok all day. I'm like, I don't care. Yeet.
Okay. So I got a story about this one here, Justin. My buddy Zach, when we used to go out and party at his house whenever I was, in my younger years, that was his thing way before this Granger Smith came on the platform. Yeah. And that was just that was his thing. We'd be drinking and he'd be like, yee! And then Granger Smith had to come over and steal it from him. So, and then he pretty much trademarked it. So, sorry,
Granger
bud.
Smith was not the first time I'd heard anybody yell yee, like, especially when you're on a 4-wheeler or doing some dumb shit, you hear it.
Honestly, Clinton, you're going to hear it both ways. So we took a Southern saying, and then we made it even shorter.
Yeah.
Because we're, resourceful like that.
I would rather just say fixin'. Like,
you'll hear me say fixin'. You'll hear me say finna do something. Just depends on like if I'm in a hurry or if I'm not.
I don't say it. But
it is what it is. It is what it is.
Well, one thing you and I both really wanted to talk tonight about is a topic that in both of our opinion has been coming up a lot, and it's a conversation that needs constant conversation and ongoing and open, engaging conversation, which is bullying across all sectors, whether you're a child, teenager, a young adult. It happens every walk of life. It happens everywhere. And I think it's a little out of control right now, in my opinion.
Mhm. You know, and it was also, I believe that Daniel and Red also discussed it on Saturday.
Yes.
I've talked a lot about it with other people here in the last week as well,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just something that you just can't not talk about because it is something that
Exactly.
is incredibly serious. Um, just to give you an example, whenever I was younger, I was a shithead whenever I grew up, like a total shithead. And I was, I've been bullied my entire life. I mean, I'm a big guy. That's just, I'm a target. But I've also done the bullying side of it. And I will tell you from that perspective, the bullying side, um, until I actually see that kid and I'm able to sit down with him and say, "Let me buy you a beer. Let me apologize for the asshole that I was, in 5th grade." Because
Mm-hmm.
that stuff sticks with you.
Yep.
I mean, I guess it depends on what kind of person you are, really. But with me, it sticks with me, and I think about it every day. How bad I treated that kid, and I hate it. I
Yeah.
absolutely hate it. But then on the other side of the token, if you are getting bullied, that also sticks with you. I remember the names and the faces of every single person that ever bullied me in my entire life.
I
You know,
remember exact words that were used, where I was, what I was doing. Um, and those are memories that still make me shudder 20 years later. And it's on my end, I was never the bully. I think I just had a giant God-given target on my back or all over my face as a lot of the keyboard warriors later when social media started rolling around would say, because I had severe acne to the point of where I went on that medication Accutane twice because it was so bad. And that medication's no joke. And like you have to go through mental health screenings here in the US to get it. You have to go for blood work every month. And it's a really intense medication, and it can make, if you have any mental health issues, it can make them worse. But that was my last resort, and I still struggle with acne too. That's how bad it was and still is. But I mean, all of that sticks with me, and every time I get and use it, I'm like, I hear the voices in my head, and I'm like, when am I gonna shake this?
mm-hmm. And with me, I look in the mirror and I can hear those people talking shit behind my back.
Mm-hmm.
I can hear that every single word, like you're talking about. I mean, it's something that never leaves you. Um, I've always said this though. Um, Obviously, I would love to meet up with that kid that I bullied in the 5th grade. I would love to sit down and buy him a beer and tell him what a piece of shit I was, and tell him how sorry I am, and tell him that I think about him every single day. And if he could find it in his heart to forgive me, then let's be friends, please.
And
Let's be friends.
I commend you for that by all means. And even Piper, I commend you for that too, because I I would find it in my heart, like if any of the kids back from 10, 15, 20 years ago would come up to me and be like, I really treated you like shit. And if they can shake my hand and we can move forward and, you know, raise a glass to that and let bygones be bygones, good. That's what I commend. But I mean, what bothers me is that I see these people, they live in my hometown, and I've seen them from time to time, and they can't even look me in the face. And I don't know if that's just remorse or if they actually hate my guts that much that they can't even look at me.
You know, the people that did the bullying to me, obviously I had everybody from all stages of life bully me. But the guys that I went to high school with, obviously that's here because I went to,
Mm-hmm.
I lived down in Texas when I was younger. Um, the guys that live here, if I ever saw them somewhere and they were to come up and apologize to me and be, just be nice about it,
Mhm.
I'd probably accept it. Honestly, I would, even though I have, and I hate to say this, but even though I have hate in my heart for them, I probably still would.
Mhm.
Because I understand, like, if they're actually going through the same thing that I am and thinking about, how they screwed up and they legitimately feel bad about it, then I would understand. I really would.
Yeah.
And I'd probably say, you know what, it's all right, dude. Let's go grab a beer, And one guy actually did, from high school. I saw him randomly and stuff, and I actually stopped him. I said, "Hey, man, what's going on?" And he talked to me for a little bit. He's like, "Man, I picked on you in high school. I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Don't worry about it." And then we, went our separate ways. I thought that was really, really good of him to do that.
Yeah.
It was brave, to be honest.
It is.
Because that's something you don't ever. It's scary to think about. Honestly, it really is. If I were ever to come face to face with a kid that I bullied, I'd be scared out of my mind. Like, I've got to fix this. I'm gonna be nervous, but you
Yeah.
know what? I have to do it. So
I mean, the way I feel about it too is, and I spoke to you about this a little bit the other day when we thought about bringing this up tonight, and a lot of the hate I see on social media because people are behind a keyboard, they don't know you, they don't know your story, they don't know where you've come from. Whenever I see like some of these teenagers or like college age kids and like they're getting hate on like their posts or whatever just for having fun and putting on the internet. I mean, there's some stuff on the internet too that should absolutely not be on the internet, and I mean, but nobody ever deserves the comment, "Go kill yourself.
no,
You should kill yourself.
no,
You're worthless." And I DM'd this one girl, I think she was like 19 or something, and there were a lot of girls on there and guys too that were like, "You're ugly, go kill yourself, like you're never gonna find a boyfriend, like give up, like why are you trying to be on social media and stuff." And I DM'd them. Whenever I see it, I'll comment something like really nice and hope that like the positivity outweighs like those hurtful and hateful comments.
yeah,
And one girl messaged me back and she was like, "Thank you. You were the only person that actually reached out to me to check on me."
yeah,
And I she was we talked for a little bit and she was like, "I really started to feel worthless." And I was like, "No." I was like, "These people have bigger insecurities than you and they're projecting their insecurities onto you."
hmm
And that is something that took me years to figure out.
hmm
And I mean, growing up, I was the tomboy. I played on an all boys basketball team because my school had cheerleading or you had basketball. I did cheerleading once. The girls were catty. They were awful to me. They bullied me. Even while trying to fit in, I did it just to fit in and try and make some friends. That didn't work. Tried out for the boys basketball team, made it, was the first girl in 10 years to make the team, and ended up going on to make lifelong friends with those boys who stuck up for me no matter what. Even to this day, they still stick up for me. And I mean, we all poked fun at each other, and there were some times where they took it a little too far, but I mean, we laugh about it now. I'm like, "Yeah, remember that time you like told me I was never gonna get a boyfriend or amount to anything? Here I am now."
Well, see, I saw Piper's comment here. Honestly, I'm gonna have to agree with you to an extent. Yes, those things that do happen to you, is getting bullied. It definitely does give you thicker skin. If somebody were to say the things that those guys said to me in high school right now, I'd be like, okay, well, you're fucking stupid, whatever. Um, Obviously, it doesn't phase me because I know what I am.
Yeah.
I see it every fucking day, But as a kid, you're just like, that was fucking mean, or that was mean. I didn't
Yeah.
cuss when I was little, but
I did. I had the
um,
mouth of a trucker at 2.
it's just, it does give you thick skin. It does, after a certain amount of time, it does, it just doesn't phase you anymore.
Well, one of the things too, and I'm so thankful for all the negativity and all the hate that I've gotten growing up, because you're absolutely right. You wouldn't be the person that you are today, and I wouldn't be the person that I am, because there's no way in hell, if I let all that stuff get to me, that I would be sitting here talking to you about this right now on the internet. No way that would have happened.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing was, my mom always told me, she was like, don't ever throw the first punch, don't ever get into a fight, but for damn sure finish it.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, I was so scared of getting in trouble because I had good grades. I was on the basketball team. I did this. I played sports my entire life. I didn't want to jeopardize that. So I didn't want to get into any kind of fight whatsoever. But then Vine came around. And I know Rich and Maddie, you guys had awesome experiences on Vine. My Vine experience was absolutely horrible, because what my high school did was they would use Vine to post Vines of me and make fun of me.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at Vanilla.
I can hear him saying it too. Yeah, Matt, like you've made great friends on Vine and you always talk about Vine, but when I hear that word, I shudder because of, like, okay, this is an embarrassing story, and I actually was able to contact Vine and get the video taken down. Somebody pulled my pants down in the middle of the hallway, filmed it, and put it on Vine. Like, those are the reasons that I even just deleted the app, because I couldn't see it anymore. And that Vine got a lot of traction. And some of the comments were like, oh my God, that's so funny. Not one of those comments was, oh my God, that poor girl must be so embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, that sticks with me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I know these days, obviously it doesn't happen, not obviously, but it doesn't really happen as much as it used to whenever I was growing up. But I know whenever I see it out in public or something like that, somebody's getting just bullied, I will step in and be like,
Yes.
this is not going to fucking happen. I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
The one story I can tell you is, obviously you guys know that I used to be married, and she had 2 kids. Well, I found out one day that her little boy was bullying a girl on the school bus. And I essentially had the same conversation I'm having with you now. I said, look, what you're doing to her is going to haunt you and her for the rest of her life, and your life, for your lives. I mean, he was 7 at the time. It's really kind of tough to explain something like that to a 7-year-old. But I tried to put it in, his terms that way he'd understand.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, if I see it happen, I try to stop it and be like, no, you need to be taught a lesson. This kind of stuff that you're doing right now is going to haunt you. It absolutely will. Don't do it.
Yeah. I mean, also too, like, the stuff that goes around on the internet, like, we're not getting political here, but I just want to bring this up. There's such a great division in our country right now, and some of the stuff that people are saying about political leaders on every single side of the spectrum, whether you're a libertarian, a conservative, a Republican, a Democrat, it's not right by any means. By any means do you have the right to go and either poke at somebody's disability, whether it's real or not, whether it's some kind of thing that somebody just posted on the internet just to circulate and create more division and more polarization. I don't like what I see. I try and say things, whether I agree with that person's views or not, and just say, hey, let's take a step back and put yourself in that person's shoes. I know they're on the world stage. They're going to get heat no matter what, but we don't need to add fuel to that fire.
You don't need to add fuel to any fire, anything like that.
Well, a bonfire maybe.
No, like politically.
No, I know that, but I'm talking realistically. If I'm at a bonfire, I'm adding as much fuel to that as I
Oh yeah,
can.
absolutely. I mean, fucking why not?
But no, yeah, getting back to a serious note, it's really disheartening to see what a lot of people are saying. And when do we grow up? At what point does this just stop?
Mhm.
What generation is it going to take to stop the hatred about everything? Why can't we just go back to the 1950s and agree to disagree and not talk about these things?
I'm gonna have to agree with you there, Vanilla. There's two things that I will not put up with, and that is
No.
somebody putting their hands on a woman and somebody putting their hands on a kid.
Yeah.
I understand that sometimes a kid just needs a whooping,
Oh, yeah.
but when somebody goes off, I mean, hauls off and just beats a kid's ass, no, I'm sorry, I'm stepping in.
Yeah.
If any woman is getting beat up on, no, sorry, dude, I'm gonna beat you within an inch of your life.
Even a man too. Like, I've seen some crazy women out there that just beat on men in public, have no remorse, and 9 times out of 10, there's something else going on there in every aspect of those situations. But I don't stand for it whether you're a woman, man, or child. It's not right. You don't put your hands on anybody else.
No, I mean, if you deserve it, I will put my hands on you. But no, that's just no.
Oh, jeez. No, you wouldn't. That was like the 1850s. So you're good, Pipes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there, Bree. Some people never grow up. There will, yeah. Honestly, they will always be around.
Yeah.
I pray for those people because I hope that they see the light. They see what they've done wrong and they have a little bit of, remorse for it.
I wish people had more compassion and understanding in their hearts. Yeah, you and me both, Red. Nacho made a fantastic point right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. It my 3 Danger.
Third Danger. Oh, Lord have mercy.
No, but you're absolutely right. There's totally a difference between getting a whooping and being abused. Yeah. And that's something I will never stand for. And I don't even like people who go to reprimand other people's kids.
Me too,
yeah.
Me
Chivalry's
too.
dead, bro.
Cars were so much better back then.
Oh, yeah, that too. Chivalry's completely dead. If it was 1950, I'd be treated like a queen. And the clothes were good, and the music.
Whoa.
This video is going to get flagged.
Oh shit! I'm gonna leave that one alone. That's between y'all two.
Yeah, I'm not getting in the middle of that one.
Oh,
but
it's one of those things that's honestly never gonna go away.
It's not,
unless there is just a radical change in how I don't know people are brought up. If that kind of thing is just kind of worked out of you. But even then, I don't think it'd still be completely gone.
Well, I think social media has become the, if not biggest issue, one of the biggest issues, because you can go on the internet and say whatever the hell you want. And you don't know what kind of day that person's had. That person could have been going through hell. You don't know. And you go and leave a nasty or hateful comment. That could be the one comment that causes somebody to take their life, and you'll never know. And you could have been the cause for that. And that's why when I see those comments on the internet, I'm like, hey, you okay? Like,
Yeah.
Don't listen to these people. They're not worth it. It's never worth that. And it's so sad because teenage suicide's up drastically.
It really is. It really is. You know, I've had family members commit suicide. Yeah, very very young, like teen years and early 20s. I've had friends with their kids have done the same thing, and I'm just like, this is fucking out of hand. This is out of hand.
This was even before social media became the big thing. I wasn't allowed to have a MySpace and now I'm thankful for it because of some of the stuff that was going on with MySpace when I was in like 4th and 5th grade, and these kids are having that at what age are you? Like 10? Like but there was a time in 6th grade where I myself, before the age of social media, was just like, I've got a plan. And that once that happens, that never goes away. And being that young and going through that and possibly could have succeeded, and I hate to use that word when talking about that stuff, but for a kid that young to go through something at that age where you think your life is over and you are that severely bullied, that's an issue. And that's what these kids don't understand.
Yeah. It creates such a mental health problem. It's awful. It's honestly a pandemic.
And also too, I mean, it creates a problem for these school systems because I know here in New Jersey, our cyberbullying laws or whatever they're called, I don't know if it's actually cyberbullying, cyber harassment, they're very gray area. They're not black and white, and I think it needs to be more concrete black and white. This gray area where it's like, oh, well, we could get them for that, but it might not go through. And like, does this really constitute like bullying? Don't you think like they're just being kids? That's the thing I hate too, is, oh, they're just kids. They don't know any better. And I'm like, but this is where we need to start teaching them.
And what sucks about the school system, because, obviously that's where most of this stuff's going to happen among kids. The teachers are already overworked as it is.
Yep.
I mean, they can't monitor every single conversation that goes on between every student. I mean,
and that shouldn't be the teacher's job.
No.
I think the counseling services in schools needs to be better and more inviting for these kids to say, this is what's going on. I don't feel safe. Because they're scared of retaliation, because that was my big thing. They're scared if they say something, it's going to come back and hit them 18 times worse.
Honestly, I wouldn't even know how to approach the problem. I mean, the first thing that I would put up, or the first thing that I would do is if I had a child, I would teach him to not be a fucking asshole. Honestly, to me, that's step one.
Yep.
Teach them morals. Teach them the things that they should be doing. And if something like that does happen, you need to explain to them, like, hey, don't be an asshole.
Well, that's where I think it starts too. And that's where I think the social media aspect of it comes, because do you know how many times I see comments on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, where are these kids' parents? And that is a great question. Where are these kids' parents? Why aren't they monitoring what they're doing online? Because I'm also a firm believer that until you turn a certain age, whether that be up to the parent at like 16, 17, or even 18, like I think it should be. I mean, and that also has to deal with trust with your kid. You should be watching what they're doing at all times, because the internet is not a safe place.
But even and sometimes it doesn't even happen between just kids or between just adults and adults. I had a coach in high school that had it out for me, because I just was not on his favorites list, and I did one thing wrong, and it was like he bullied me the rest of the year, and that was the reason why I quit playing baseball in high school. Is I fucking hated this guy. Like I'm not dealing with this bullshit. And then all his favorites were the ones that actually did do the bullying at the guys at my age. I was like, fuck this, I'm done. I hate this. I do not want to be a part of this bullshit if this kind of shit is going to happen. So for me, that step was taking myself out of the equation. As much as I fucking hated doing it, because I love baseball. I still love baseball, as you know. That pissed me off. But I was like, you know what? I started living a little bit more stress-free, and things got a little bit better. But I told myself I'm not going back to that fucking team if that guy's going to be the coach, and if those guys are going to be on that team, I'm not fucking playing with them. But that's just one case. That's just my story, and there's fucking billions of them out there. For me at that age to know, like, hey, if you take yourself out of this is going to fucking stop, and it did. That to me, that was good for me for thinking that. It was not so much easy to explain that to my parents. Like, they just thought I quit, and that's what and honestly, that's what I told them. I was like, I don't want to play. And actually, me and my dad had this conversation a couple weeks ago, and I told him, I was like, I told him why I quit. He's like, I had no idea. You never came to me and talked to me about it, because I didn't want to. Because I would have got the to suck it up talk, which is something that I was not willing to do. I'm not willing to suck up the shit that I'm getting from the coach and the players. And I said, no, fuck it. I'm doing it on my own, and I quit. And things got better.
That's the thing too, though, is I think we were brought up with that suck it up, rub some dirt on it mentality, that if we went to our parents, we would sound weak in a way. And it got to a point so bad my senior year where I couldn't take it anymore, and I actually had to be homeschooled, because we used to go down to Florida every year for spring training. Some stuff happened on that trip. A conversation was being had between me and two of the underclassmen on the team at the time, and there was a confrontation between me and another player. And I went to all three of my coaches that day, and I was like, I've dedicated my life to this team, but I can't do this anymore. And I just cried. I was like, I can't take the backlash. I can't take how nobody takes me seriously. And this isn't fun anymore. And my coaches were behind me every step of the way. They reamed the entire team out. I don't even want to know how long they ran polls for, but I needed to do what I needed to do. And that was the hardest thing for me. And luckily, I went to college and played. And then after fall ball season, my freshman year of college, I was kind of like, I can't do this with taking 18 credits and playing sports between waking up at 6 a.m. for practices, and because I took honors classes in college as well. It wasn't for me, and I wanted to make sure I did what I needed to do, but that was easier to walk away from than my senior year, when I totally had to hand in my jersey, and I finally got the number I deserved after 4 years. But that's another story. But I mean, and then it didn't go away when I went to college either. I just feel like there was a giant target on my back and a radar that just went off to people that was like, okay, we're going to go after this one.
See, I actually remember the exact moment that I told myself, like, I'm done with this fucking team. Whenever I was, it was from when I was a freshman to a sophomore, I was a catcher. And so I played on the JV team. But I would also have to go to the varsity game. So I had to go to every single game, varsity, junior varsity, because I would have to warm up the pitchers. And if the starter on the varsity team got hurt, God forbid, I had to be there to play for him.
You were
because I was the backup essentially, which I was fine with, because he was a great player, and actually one of the very few people that I still talk to from high school. He's a really good guy. But I had to go to every single game. I didn't have an option. After the coach started pulling his bullshit, all the players they pulled their bullshit ever since day one. I could have dealt with them, but the coach, no, that was a fucking line.
Always politics involved with that stuff, whether it be the coaches or the players.
Yes, but the thing that really was the final nail in the coffin for me for the team was we were actually going to go play district. Okay. And the coach told me, he said, "You're not going." I said, "Excuse me? I've been on this team for 3 fucking years. I've been to every fucking game, and you're going to sit here and tell me I'm not going? Fuck you." I packed my fucking bag and I went. I got on that bus. I said, "No, I'm fucking going. I've been to every single game. I've been a part of both of these teams. I'm going."
Yeah.
And then obviously the assistant coaches came in. They were like, "Just let him go. Just let him go. He's pissed." But it was that moment right there when he said, "You're not going." I said, "You know what? Fuck you. I'm done. I'm fucking done with this team. As soon as we get back, I fucking quit." But we ended up winning district, so that was pretty cool. So I got the patch.
Awesome.
I did get the patch. But it pissed me the fuck off.
Oh, and it should have. I mean, not to say, I hate to say it should have, but I mean, that's also why I still to this day coach both volleyball and softball, and that's something I do not tolerate. I do not tolerate the bullying. I do not tolerate the clickiness. I'm like, y'all are a team. You walk onto this field as a team. You walk off of this field as a team. I don't care. You leave your dirt at the door.
Another thing, I'm sorry, I'm kind of sticking to sports here because I've seen so much of it. You have those parents that have kids on the team, and they see the coaches out there, really just being coaches to these kids, and they're like, "Oh, that coach is bullying my child." It's like, no, that coach is breaking your child of bad fucking habits, and he's teaching them new ones.
Yeah.
To better, play the game. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, yeah, if he's getting bullied, yes, there you can definitely tell. But if a coach is out there like, "Hey, we've showed this to you how many times? Come on, you just need to get it. Keep on practicing. You'll be all right."
You're being a coach.
Coaches have to be hard on kids.
Yes.
You have to break you have to break kids of the bad habits, or everybody, not just kids, everybody.
Yes.
Of those bad habits, so that way they can, learn something new and do better.
Well, my issue was a lot of the parents that would, again, going back to like the politics of it, is the sweet talking and the bribery and like the coach's kid mentality, like, I mean, I never played on a team where the coach's kid was like bad. But like, then I started playing club ball, and once I got into high school, college, it went away because those coaches don't take shit from anyone. But high school, I remember those parents trying to weasel their kid onto the field, and they would do anything, and they're like, "Oh, she can go on and play any position you need her to." And I'd be sitting there, I'm like, "No, she can't." I'm like, "She doesn't even know what glove or what hand her glove goes on." Like, there's no way.
That's I know we're kind of going off on a tangent, but parents that are at the games, please shut the fuck up. Yes. As a player, I would hear people in the stands, yelling at their kid. I'm just like, will you shut your fucking mouth?
Yep.
We're playing, not you. Okay. I understand if you want to cheer your kids on, fucking go for it. Fuck yeah. We'd love that shit. For anybody that's in here, Jess, everybody in the comments section, if your parents or your loved ones are cheering you on at a game, does that not fucking amp you up?
Oh yeah.
Because it did for me. Please.
I mean,
cheer for them. Do not tell me that I should have swung at that fucking pitch. I know that.
Yeah.
I saw that some bitch go by and it was in the middle of the zone. I fucking saw it. You know, parents can sometimes be bullies themselves when it comes to shit like that. Take a step back. It's your kid playing the game, whenever you were younger, it was you playing the game.
Yep.
Be quiet. Let the umpire handle it. Let the kid handle it. Things will turn out just fine.
Sometimes those umpires need a reality check too. I've played.
Yes,
with
they do. I agree.
dirty
I agree with that. We got lucky enough to have regular umpires in high school, and they were really good.
We had
really,
some
really
great
good.
regulars, and we had some awful ones too. But I mean, and going back to the parent bullying thing, I mean, I thought about it at the time. There were a couple games too where I left my heart on the field, and there were some things I definitely could have done better, but also some things I couldn't change.
That's
And
sports altogether.
I would dread getting in the car with my dad after a game, and I'm like, oh my God, he's got a whole notebook of stuff that you did wrong that you don't even know you did wrong. But I thanked him for it after, because I'm like, your words stuck with me, and he didn't do it in a bullying way.
Mhm.
He was stern, and there were a ton of times he was pissed off with me. But those were when I made the stupid mistakes that I should have known not to make.
That's
But
dads for you.
that was the difference between my dad being a bully and my dad making me a better player.
Exactly. That it sounds like my dad to a T. He would yell. He would scream at us. But in the end, he told us what we were doing wrong, where we needed to improve. He was a great coach.
And dads sometimes are the hardest coaches to have too.
Oh,
Aside
absolutely.
from that, like, coach's kid mentality, my dad didn't treat me or my brother any differently than he treated any of those other kids on that field. If anything, my dad was harder on us. We never got the easy way out.
Right.
And that was all my dad's good friends, who he's still friends with to this day, that he coached with. They all did the same thing with each one of us. They treated us all the same. And quite honestly, when my dad and his friends were coaching me, I messed up. I was running poles. I was running bases. I was, but
and to kind of finish off my baseball story, because I know y'all are probably tired of hearing it. The next year, my senior year, I had already decided, obviously, that I'm not fucking playing ball.
Mhm.
What ended up happening was that coach that was doing that kind of bullshit got fired.
Yeah.
And so the assistant coach my junior year was like, he came up to me like all year long. He's like, I really want you back on the team. I really want you back on the team. And I was like, I'm sorry. And that should probably be another topic that we discuss, is regret.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I really regret playing for him, because he turned out to be a wonderful, wonderful man. And I didn't ever get to have him as a teacher in the high school, but he actually had me and a friend come back to teach a class about engines. And he was so excited for it. And so were we. Because like, oh, we're going back to see Kilty. Hell yeah. I wish I would have played for him my senior year, because I think it would have just rounded out like the 3 years of hell that I went through. And honestly, it probably would have been fun.
Yeah. I mean,
It would have finally been fun.
I've got a ton of regrets in my life in regards to bullying too. I mean, we can talk about that. Like, I wish I stood my ground, and I wish I stood up for myself. And even if they didn't respect me, I would probably have a hell of a lot more respect for myself.
Mhm.
I mean, I have a lot of respect for myself for going through what I did and not getting suspended, not jeopardizing my athletic career or my honors awards or anything. Because that was at the back of my mind. That was like, you don't want to get involved. You don't want to screw this up for you. But I also do regret not sticking up for myself and not walking away from people who I thought were my friends who really weren't. That's a huge regret I have in my life.
I'm going to steal this line from Men in Black, and not trying to be a nerd, but the strongest force in the universe is regret.
It is.
It will tear you apart.
Yep.
It will tear you apart. For me, I've been lucky enough to not really have any regrets. I've always told people that, like, hey, the bad shit that's happened to me in my life, it has made me who I am today. It has given me that thick skin. I'm thankful for it. So the things that I regret are like selling my 1970 GMC pickup. I regret not keeping my 1986 Mustang GT. You know, materialistic
you
shit.
yeah.
I thank God that's all it is. I really don't. You know, I regret buying that 2013 Dodge that I sent back because it was a pile of shit. I guess.
And
I, I
regret is something too that you fully don't ever recover from, or you learn how to cope with it,
right.
but you never fully forgive yourself for that regret. It's one of those gray areas when it comes to mental health and mental well-being where
Yeah.
you're like, I'm never going to bury this hatchet because
No,
there's
yeah,
always that what if.
it's always going to be right there in the back of your mind.
Yep.
It's something you're going to take with you to the grave.
Unfortunately, I have a lot more regrets in my life than I'm proud of.
Yes. This is one of
Yes.
them. That is one thing I do regret. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I feel awful every day about that. So, I mean, I could say her name shit off for you guys. But definitely that is one of them. I hope someday that I can meet this kid and tell him, "Hey, I'm sorry.
I hope
Can you
so
find
too.
it? Can you find it in your heart to forgive me for the stupid shit that I pulled?" And maybe he doesn't even remember. Because it was fuck 5th grade. I was in 5th grade. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
I mean,
But
a
like I said,
lot of the regret I have is more so not sticking up for myself and literally, I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I was thrown down a flight of stairs by somebody that was at half my height because I was terrified of the retaliation. I regret not standing my ground and quite literally standing up for myself at that moment. Like I was telling you the other day too. I would come home. I would keep makeup in my backpack, and I went to a private school. You weren't allowed to have makeup. You weren't allowed to have different colored hair, like very strict. And I'd keep it in my bag because I'd come home with bruises
I know.
all over my arms, all over my legs. And I would cover them up because I didn't need her upstairs or him downstairs asking me why I've got these bruises. And some of them on my legs I could pass off, like, oh, we were playing basketball at recess. Like, I just fell. Like, that stuff. And I'd trip over my own 2 damn feet. So that would have just one flying over the cuckoo's nest for that one. It wouldn't have phased them. But I came home with a black eye one day. And I covered that thing up like constantly. And even if I would see a little bit of it poking through, like run to the bathroom or something and just cover it up. And I finally told my mom about it not too long ago. And she goes, "You think I didn't know?" She's like, "You think I didn't figure out that something was going on with you?" And I mean,
That's a horrible heart, but there you go, Jess. Sorry. I know, Jesse. He's
mine,
not. He's not a kid. He's not.
mine's
Yeah, that's much.
prettier.
Hers is much better. I know he's not a kid anymore. He's 2 years younger than me. You
He's
know.
grown.
I was an asshole. I would love to buy him a beer. I would. And I know he's not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
None of us are.
Well, you still think of him as that kid.
I'll
So.
always think of my 5th grade self and his, and then he being a little kid.
Yeah.
That's how I'm always going to see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sucks. I hate everything about it. Regret and bullying.
Yes, Brie. That was kind of my deal too. A lot of the teachers didn't really believe me or paid any mind to it. They just kind of let it slide until something escalated one day and they had to get involved. That was when I got hit on the playground so hard and into a wire fence and cut the absolute crap out of my face. That was the one and only time I got involved.
But here's the thing, though. I'm going to go back to this, even though we've already covered it. That's one of those things, like, the teachers never came to me, and I never went to teachers about the bullying whenever I was younger or in high school because of that rub some dirt on it mentality.
Yep.
Again, that was ingrained into our souls from my parents anyway, and from your parents, from what you've been talking about. It's just something that you didn't fucking bitch about, but it's something that it rips you apart. And
it does.
There was, for me, I eventually had to get to the point in, 7th grade or 8th grade, where or 6th or 7th grade, and I was like, you know what, I'm done with this.
Yep.
And
enough is enough at some points, and some points you just can't take the beating anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like it got to the point where, because we had like the aides monitor recess or whatever while the teachers went on their lunch break. And the only reason that this was brought up to the teacher's attention, because it looked like you could see the fence like cut my face and stuff. And I probably should have gotten stitches, didn't need them. It healed up real well. But
look at you, Maddie.
The thing was, if it weren't for my best friend and his mom being out there, he was the one that went to her and he was like, Jess is down. Like, these girls literally just jumped her. That's exactly what happened. And she was the one that went to the principal and she was like, this isn't going to fly because I've already called her mother. And y'all aren't covering this one up. Because again, the politics and the clickiness and the moms and the private school BS and stuff, that they weren't getting away with that time because they got away with murder pretty much.
People can sit here and literally talk about this subject until they are blue in the face.
Oh, yeah.
Because it just needs to start getting fixed.
Yeah, it does.
This teenage suicide needs to fucking stop.
And the comments even coming in too, Nacho being a teacher and Bree being a teacher too. It's like you get that mama bear and papa bear mentality and you're like, this shit ain't gonna fly. It's not happening. And I'm so glad that there are teachers like y'all out there, because you guys are the difference that is made in kids like our lives. And I'm, again, so proud to be friends with you guys. And it makes me feel so much better that these kids have people in their corner. And that might be the thing. This generation of teachers might be the ones that put an end to this shit. One can only hope.
I hope so. I hate hearing about the horror stories of kids getting bullied, and I want it to stop. I think all of us do. As good-hearted people, we do. On the other hand, sometimes it does make you tough. Sometimes it does give you thick skin, just like it did for me. Is there that mental scar from it? Yes, it's always going to be there. But in the end, it helped me.
I think there's also a difference too with a lot of things that gave me thick skin was like I said with my good friends. Sometimes they took it too far, but maybe they needed to. Maybe I needed that extra layer of skin. Maybe it's okay.
You definitely need a thicker layer of skin when it comes to making jokes.
Yeah. Jokes can hurt, but and Vanilla is absolutely right too. Teachers can be the worst bullies. They can. And that's something that...
Same story with me. The coach was a teacher.
Yep. And they choose their favorites. They have their favorites. And sometimes...
They don't like you, they will bully the shit out of you.
Yep. They won't pay no mind to you. And
I think, honestly, with that teacher, I don't know the full story because I didn't care to know. I was like, he's fucking gone. That's why I'm happy.
Yeah.
but obviously it wasn't. I never went to anybody about it, so it couldn't have been something that I did or something that happened to me. It had to be happening to a lot of other kids, and that's why he got the boot. Which honestly, we were all really, really happy about that.
I mean, I had a teacher one time tell me that I was never going to get into college because I was suffering in math, and that stuck with me. And when I took my SATs, when I was writing out my college applications, I was like, I'm not going to get into any of these places. Like, why am I even bothering? My math grade is bad. I mean, now I look back on it and I'm like, you're a blundering idiot. Like, why were you thinking like that? But because that one teacher told me I would never amount to anything, I would love to go back to my high school now and or after I get my diploma in May and say, I've got 3 degrees, buddy, and you told me that I wouldn't get here.
I've had the same thing happen to me, only with my career. I worked for a guy for literally a week, and he told me the exact same thing. You will never be a good mechanic. You will never amount to anything. I'm like, all right, I see your challenge. Well, fuck you. I'm out, but I'm going to prove you wrong. And I'd like to think that I'm a pretty goddamn good mechanic.
I mean, I haven't seen your work, and my mechanic's costing me an arm, a leg, and probably 2 kidneys at this point to fix my car right now. So I kind of wish I could see your mechanic skills. Because Mama's stimulus check ain't gonna cover the whole thing.
Jesus, what the fuck did you do to it?
EVAP system. Totally shot.
Buy a new car.
That's don't give my boyfriend any more ammo than he needs. Because he tells me every damn day, get a new car. Why don't you get a new car? I'm like,
there is a point that is reached when it's just like, do I really want to spend the money on this piece of shit?
I love my car though. I
Well,
love her.
if you love it, then fix it.
I love Blue. She's got her issues, but so do I. So
you need to put a fucking phone holder in that car too. I'm gonna buy you one.
I did, and it broke.
I'm gonna buy you one that's like fixed on your dash. Oh, this right here, y'all. This girl right here is the CEO of Turning Corners, and the phone going tumbling off into the floorboard.
Everyone knows. Everyone's seen it happen at least once.
You know, I thought I was super smart. Like, I built one for my truck. Didn't do it right. I was just like, hurry. Okay, cool. It looks great. Oh, it works. Awesome. Yeah. No, I can put my phone on it, and it does this.
Hey, Notch, you want to sponsor me, buddy? I'll send your application through if that's something you're interested in. But yeah, Piper, I've been looking at Jeeps. I think that's what my next car is definitely going to be, unless it's I'm leaning towards a pickup. I don't know. I'm also not in the market for a new car yet. I'm trying to see what kind of job I can get after I graduate. So then once I have a salary in mind, I can figure all of that out. But right now, new cars.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
That sounds like a nasty bug you've got. It sounds worse than a Rona.
It's that Jeep bug, you know, because I hate working on them. I don't miss working on Jeeps.
You just started a war with somebody who ain't the one.
Hey, I didn't say I didn't like Jeeps. I think they're badass. Do I want to work on one though? Fuck no.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would agree with that too. But Piper did a pretty badass job of changing her own oil, so.
She did. She did a very good job.
I mean,
getting oil all over herself.
Yeah. There was that minor
that's me. That's me every single day. Like, I try to be as careful as possible. It's like, oh, covered in diesel fuel. Great. No, Piper, I worked for a Dodge dealership for a long time, as you know, and those were my least favorite vehicles to work on. because everything is literally compact.
Yeah.
You know, do a heater core in a Jeep Wrangler. Tell me how well you like Jeeps after that. Fuck that.
Mm.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I'm not going to be the
I would
one
drive
working on it, so
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, if you're driving one, fuck yeah.
I'll
Go
change
for it. Those things are badass.
I mean, I can change my tires and I can change my own oil, but after that, I mean, my dad used to do a lot of work on the cars and stuff, and my dad would have fixed my car, but he can't do that anymore. So, therefore, to the mechanic I go. But
Yeah, well, too bad none of y'all are really around me. I'd be your
yeah,
mechanic.
just open up your own shop. You've got enough people here that could keep you in business.
That's true. We all have to move to one central location. I'm not driving to you.
Yes, Piper Challengers are worse to like fix or do any kind of work on.
Oh, yes, they are. I mean, they're not as bad as Jeeps, but they are pretty fucking bad.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I would honest to God, I would rather change the oil on a Jeep than a Challenger any day, just because I mean, I'm not tiny, but like I'm a girl. I can get under a Challenger, but there's still not a lot of room when you're working underneath there.
No, the Challengers and Chargers are fucking stupid because they have like these plastic
Yeah.
things that cover shit up, and you got to take those off, and usually the fucking bolts. I'm not
You
gonna get in.
snap
I'm not gonna get into it.
They snap so easily.
Yeah,
Like,
so I'm not gonna get into it because there's so much shit that I could talk about Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram. And I just
yeah,
don't want to because I don't have that kind of time. You know,
yeah.
they're not my favorite. I'm a Ford guy, so there's my problem.
Yeah.
I accept it. Y'all can give me shit for it. I don't really care. That's just.
Ford is what I'm looking for. If we're
Atta girl.
being honest, I'm a Ford
Atta girl.
girl. My dad still says to me, "Found on road dead" is what Ford stand for, but the newer Fords definitely don't live up to that uh stereotype or whatever you want to call it. But I like Chevys too. I will never, ever, ever, ever get a Toyota Tacoma. That ain't a truck. I
Okay, so I don't really care what y'all think. I will never buy a Chevy, a new one. No fucking thank you. Mm-mm. No, I will never ever buy a brand new Dodge unless it's like a Hellcat Challenger because that would be fun.
until you go
um,
and snap the bottom half off of it.
oh yeah. But when it comes to old stuff, and that's where my expertise comes in. That's where my passion for cars comes in. It doesn't really matter what it is. I'd have an old Mustang. I'd have an old Charger. I'd have an old Chevelle.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to old stuff, it's
The
fair game.
Chevelles
I'll
were
take all of it.
beautiful cars.
They
Oh
still are.
my god. I mean, they still are, but like you look at an old Chevelle and you're like, with like I like the light blue paint job on them with the nice chrome rim. Like this color blue.
Yes, Piper. I'm gonna have to agree with you. I love my Ford trucks.
Yes. Piper,
um,
you're right on that one too. They will be in the shop every
you
other week.
know, the crazy thing is, when those Hellcats came out, and even when did they come out? 16.
Yeah. Around then, 15, 16. Maybe not.
I never saw one come to the shop other than maintenance.
Oh, around here, you go to all the auto shops in my area, there's at least one in there.
Well, as you guys probably know, Justin knows this. Oklahoma is a drag racing state.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, there's a fucking TV show based on it here in my town. Still though, I I've never seen a Hellcat in the shop for a blown engine, blown transmission, blown rear, nothing. Not once. Not once.
Like, we've got car shows here in town all the time. And even with COVID, like, and they're so safe too. Like, I mean, they've even got they normally park the cars 6 feet apart because, no dings. But, ooh, the Silverado's coming.
Nice, dude. Love it.
But, I mean, see, now I feel like we're bullying cars. If we're being honest.
An object, it can be bullied. So, fuck them.
I guess. I was just trying to make a point.
You're always going to meet people that have some kind of stigma against Ford or Chevy or Dodge. Mostly against Ford. I'm sorry that Ford makes a better car and you guys are just butthurt about it.
That's how I see it. I mean, there would be no hate if it weren't damn near perfect. That's why I think a lot of people hated me growing up, because I was damn near perfect. And people didn't like that. But that's just me.
Excuse me. Piper is. She is. I didn't know you were in a shop. What the hell?
How do you think she could change her own oil? Are you kidding me?
That's awesome, though. I had no idea. That's awesome.
I knew Piper was like a car girl. The first live I jumped into of hers, she's just got that car girl look. I don't know. She's got that, like, don't test me, don't try me, don't even look at me. Like, no, she ain't the one.
Yeah, no, she ain't the one. Yeah, no.
But that's why we love you.
Well, with that being said, you guys, I'm excited for tomorrow's show with the Red Rich and Miss Piper. They're going to have
the jawline. The jawline is coming. I don't know how to contain myself. I don't know what I'm going to do. I've got the whole evening blocked off. I'm probably going to do my makeup. Not that he's going to see me. But, it's Beer Bong John, y'all.
I'm really curious on to what he has to say. So that is definitely going to be a very fun show. And then the day after that, we have the Gorilla Lounge at 9:00 Eastern Time on Thursday with the Vanilla Gorilla. And always, this guy is putting on a podcast that is absolutely fantastic. He talks about things that absolutely have to be talked about, and I love it. I 100% love it.
I couldn't have asked for anything more raw or real in a podcast, and I love that about it. It makes me think, and even in the comments of that one too, like, you see so many people who are going through these things that people are coming on to talk about. And even last week's episode, Justin,
100%.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart for that one. I needed it. I just don't know. I think between the Oddcast and now the Gorilla Lounge, like, y'all know what I need when I need it. Definitely need some Beer Bong John this week. So, but I mean,
cool.
Shut up. Shut up. I hate you.
No, you don't. You love me. You love me. If you guys missed it at the very first, I did run into a very sweet deal on Instagram. If you guys are into cars, since we have been talking about them, go to hollyperformance.com. They are selling T-shirts for pretty much half off.
$10.
Absolutely. I will show you guys some examples here. You just go down to the products, go to apparel and collectibles, and it'll bring you to this page right here. And a page before that, you just click on the shirts. And then pretty much all of these are $10. I thought that was a hell of a deal. It was something that I really wanted to share with you guys. So if you're in the market for some cheap T-shirts that have some some cool brands on them. There you go. They're not paying me a fucking dime for telling you this either. So
No,
just thought it was
me
something cool
either.
for you guys to look up if you ever wanted to get some t-shirts. So with that being said, you guys, I think we're going to go ahead and end the broadcast. But tonight was good. Tonight was good. I'm glad we got to talk about something that really needed to be talked about,
Yeah.
and then have fun with other things that we talked about as well. So
I would
we will
love to continue this conversation too in the
absolutely.
future. If y'all have anything that you want us to talk about specifically, and even things that you think should be brought to light, maybe a conversation y'all have had with your friends or your family recently that you would like to hear Nick and I either fight about or talk about like we did tonight. Greatly appreciated. Our DMs are open.
We talk about fight about. We don't fight.
We fight all the time.
We argue and I win. So that's how it goes.
No. Okay. I mean, I know I've been roasted on my own podcast twice. Twice by two different people.
Again, you need to develop that thicker skin so you can just give it right back.
See, but
because
I'm too nice.
I can take it. I swear I can take it.
I mean,
spread
the love, y'all.
Jess, we do love you. We do. You know that, all of us. And I'm so glad that you're my co-host.
I could not have asked for the
better
older brother figure to do this with.
That's right. Absolutely.
Who can make fun of me and enjoy it.
And still love you at the end of the day.
That's where I was going. That's what I was missing.
But hey, that's just me. But all right, you guys, we're going to jump off here. Thank you for turning in, and we will probably see y'all tomorrow in the Oddcast.
Yes, you will.
Yes. So, you guys have a great night.
Good night, guys. See you next week.